This is Flip Flop. Before we get started, please hit the like button and subscribe if you enjoy these reviews and would like to see more. We would greatly appreciate it, and it would help our little channel grow. This week, we're diving into the dark corridors of Arkham with Joker, Folie at number 1, take a number 2. Directed by Todd Phillips and starring Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga. As Arthur Fleck finds a kindred spirit in Harley Quinn, Lee, their twisted romance takes center stage in this musical thriller. Did this sequel captivate us with its blend of madness and melody, or was it made by a bunch of clowns? Find out now on Flick Flops.
Gary, let me go do Rotten Tomatoes first, so we'll get that out of the way. Then we'll get up into our ratings, and then we will break this bad boy down because we just saw this bad boy.
We did.
So real quick, Rotten Tomatoes, Gary, do you have any idea if you looked at the numbers on this thing?
Last time I checked, which was yesterday, it was not so good.
Yeah, they're not a good. Critics have this thing sitting at 33, which is not good, and the fans, the audience, has it sitting at 36, which is not good.
So they are really close too on what they think about this.
It's rotten.
Which is interesting, and that could lead us directly into our ratings so we can talk about it. What do you think?
I'm ready to. I have thoughts.
Let's do this. A quick reminder that our rating system is unconventional. We don't hand out stars, we hand out poos and TPs, up to 5 of them. And just to add more confusion, the more we give, the crappier we think the film is. Crappier, get it? Yeah, it's dumb, but that's the way we do it. All right, Andy, I don't know if you want to go first or me.
I'll go first if you want, because you'll need. So I'll poop and then you can wipe it up.
Oh, I don't like the way that you said that, but okay.
Gary, I'm coming at you hot here.
Hot,
fresh.
Hot and fresh. Wow. Nice.
4.5 on this, Gary.
All right.
And I'll explain.
Well, let's get to it, but let me just show you first that I am at.
Okay.
Oh, oops. Wait a minute. What? I gave the wrong one. There we go. See, we're recording this one live. This is a little bit different than we normally do it. No editing involved. We're just going to do the sucker live.
You can't fix that in post.
So I cannot fix that. So there you go.
Oh, Gary.
Oh, boy. Let's talk about this.
I had such high hopes for this film. I was so excited to see this movie. And, I was like, voila, adieu. Folie, adieu, whatever that is. I thought, oh, that's something clever. And at the end of the movie, I thought, oh, maybe that's French for not a good movie.
Maybe that's French for lots of number 2.
Oh, man, this was... And you know what stinks is we have a mutual friend, Brent, who I told you previously. He's like, I told him I was going to see this movie, and he goes, I'll save you the time and the energy. It's going to suck.
Yeah.
And I didn't want Brent to be right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I tried hard, Gary, to really want this movie. I mean, I was going to give it a 5, but it to me, 5, it's not Catwoman bad yet. But I mean, without being funny and stupid and trying to make a joke about it, this movie failed me on so many levels. And apparently it's failed a lot of people. I've watched a handful of reviews. I've read some reviews, and we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
This movie cannot decide if it's going to be a psychological thriller or a musical. It didn't need to be a musical. And it's confusing. I'll let you talk for it. I don't want to take all the time up. I'm sure you have thoughts.
Let me say
that was my main beef with it. I was like, I don't even know what's going on here. I don't need these songs. I like Gaga. She's fine. I don't need you to sing songs. I don't need every dream sing. To me, Goddess to God, Gary, the best part of this movie was the opening cartoon.
Well, let me say one thing first of all. To start off with, when they announced that they were going to make a sequel to Joker, I had mixed thoughts on doing it. On one hand, I really liked the first Joker so much that I was. In fact, that's such a rewatchable movie because I think you get something out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think so.
I know that Brent. I know Brent disagrees.
Brent, I'm name checking Brent. He hated that movie.
When they announced they were doing this, I had mixed feelings anyway. And then I remember talking to my friend Jeff, and I had read or heard that it was going to be a musical. And I was like, dude, I'm out. Like, I have zero desire to watch a Joker sequel that's a musical.
Yeah.
And then from what I understand, I mean, that talk kind of went away, but I think I guess they backed off of the idea that it was a musical, and it was more that they had musical parts in it. And,
Right.
So I was like, okay, well, and seeing the trailer for it before going to see it, I was like, it looks interesting, like I could be back. Maybe I do want to be back in that world and check it out, because the way Joker played as a comic book film, which is really not, was because it took a character and they just did a whole different thing on it. It was just a totally different vibe. It got into a lot of different themes, and there's a lot of depth to it. And the way it was directed and everything was really cool. There's such a sense of, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it, but so there was that a little bit of like, maybe I am getting a little excited about seeing it, So I think we texted each other right as we were walking in, and it was kind of like, I'm excited, yeah, let's do this.
I was pumped.
And it starts off, it has that cartoon that you mentioned, and then it gets right into it. And as soon as it starts, it's like, oh, we're back in that world.
Yes.
It had that fit, and I was like, here we go. Like, I was even excited then.
Yeah.
It gets up to a point, and I'm just going to do a quick overview of how my brain kind of went with watching it. It did a sort of a musical number sort of towards the beginning. And I was like, if that's what they're doing, that's not that bad.
Right.
Like the first little music, I was like, that's not really that bad. So I could get into this. And then the movie continues, and then it drags on, and then there's some more musical numbers that don't mean anything to the story whatsoever. And then I got to the point where I'm like, holy shit, is this thing about over? And then there's a thing that happens near the ending that I'm like, okay, this might be the redemption of the movie that I was kind of looking forward to, without giving anything away. And it just turns around to become nothing. And by the end of it, Tara said, what did you think? Because she could not remember the first one. She goes, what did you think about it? I said, I'm going to have to think on this one for a little bit. I was like, but my initial reaction is, that was a movie that never needed to be made.
Exactly.
That character gave us nothing more. It didn't do anything.
I wanted to call you so bad afterwards. And I said, I literally walked in the house. I was like, Andy, let it marinate.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you're fresh. The Band-Aid just got ripped off. Let's let that wound settle down.
Yeah.
And then today at work, I had guys ask because they know we do the podcast. Like, Andy, what's your review? And I'm like, God. I said, guys, look, it's going to tarnish. To me, it tarnishes the original.
It really does. Yeah.
And I'm like you said, it just didn't need. If this is what you were going to do, it didn't need to get done. I mean, this was not supposed to be made. This was never going to be a sequel movie.
Right.
They were talked into it. Joaquin really wanted to revisit the character, and I admire that, because I'm with you. I want to revisit it. I want you to go into Arkham. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Because Gary and I are we're Batman guys from back in the day, and we were big fans of Arkham and the story and the legends. Do it.
We named one of our bands Arkham Asylum, for Pete's sake.
Oh, yeah, we did.
That's how much we gave a crap about the Batman and stuff.
This just went off the rails quick. And where it goes off the rails, there's nothing redeeming about it. Even the secondary storyline. So you got basically two movies. You got the Joker version, the thriller, the Arthur Fleck, the weirdo, and then you got the music numbers.
Yeah.
And you've got two movies that are just going back and forth.
Yeah.
You didn't need this part at all. None of it makes any sense. None of it ties together. I mean, the best I can figure, maybe you tell me, Gary, because I think you're better understanding this stuff than I am. It seemed to me whenever he was going into his delusions, it became musical numbers.
Yeah, kind of.
Not all the time, but kind of.
Yes.
And I was just like, I don't need this. I just don't. You could have done so much more with this movie.
Yeah.
You just could have. And why you didn't, and why, like, we say this all the time. There were people that were watching the dailies. There were people that sat and saw the final edit and went, yeah, another blockbuster.
Yeah.
I want to talk to them. Like, none of you had a doubt. None of you went, I don't know, man. I think you need to just cut a lot of that musical stuff out.
Right.
Keep a couple in, and I get it. You've got Lady Gaga, and you want to look. She doesn't need to sing; she can act. I got no beef with her acting.
Yeah, there are a few things I do when we're done. I do want to talk about it because it's definitely spoiler territory, and I just want now that we're having a conversation about this and we can talk about it. I want to mention it, but I'll say this: to me, the reason I didn't give it a full 5, and I probably would have.
Oh yeah,
The directing is great, even the musical
yes,
numbers, even though they are unneeded and unnecessary. Everything is shot
it's well done.
brilliantly. It looks great. It sounds great.
I want to visit where
Sound and
Arkham was. I was like, "Is that
the
Alcatraz with a
the
bridge? Are you kidding
yeah,
me?"
yeah. The overlap of the songs that they're playing plus the haunting music in the background with I mean there's some really technically like really creative things done in the
Yes,
movie. The acting, I mean, you can't pick at the acting at all. I thought the acting was great. There's so many good things about it. And where it fails is the entire, first of all, the necessity of it and the story. I mean, the story was just not, it plays a little game with the viewer. If you're a fan of Joker, you will hate this movie because it really messes with everything that the first movie set up. It
yes,
walks back a little bit of it. It it really makes the like I know people talked about this character as if this was like some sort of hero character or something. No, that was the delusion in the first one. That was the whole point of the movie. You know, it's not that anybody cheers the Joker on. It's it's him being it's I mean, there's a lot of stuff about abuse and all that stuff. I don't want to get too far into it, but I'll just say that a lot of that was just not really they toyed with this idea of the schizophrenia thing in it.
mhm,
So they're like it's like red herrings here they're throwing in, and they've got the musical numbers where they come in and you start wondering if the singing parts, because there's some stuff where he's singing and it's not really going on, and then some they are, maybe I don't know. You start remembering the way the first movie played out, how much there was delusion going on with him, and that little kind of surprise you get as you get that through that movie. I went into this one wondering where's the parts where it's not really real. And I start questioning everything about what's going on in the movie. And
yes,
there's a lot, and there's a scene where there's, gosh, I don't really want to give anything away, but there's a scene where he gets a visitor while he's in prison, while he's in lockdown, and he gets a visitor. And it's like, this can't be real, right? This has got to be his
right.
delusions again. You're because you're questioning again from the first movie, and then there's some talk about that later, and you're like, that? I guess that really happened. Like it was a mess. It could never really figure out what it wanted to be.
Exactly. There's no roadmap in this, and again, and look, I said this. I've argued this with our boy Brent. You, if Heath Ledger's Joker doesn't exist, this is the best Joker you've ever going to see. I think
Well,
he's
not
fantastic.
not maybe this version, but the
Well,
first
right, yeah, I
one.
mean, Joaquin Phoenix as a Joker,
Certainly,
yeah,
certainly,
yeah,
yeah,
because I think he plays it wonderfully, and
yeah,
I'm a fan of Joaquin Phoenix as a Joker. I mean, I really am I'm on board with it. I mean, again, Heath Ledger's was just
yeah,
outstanding, but I mean, again, Heath Ledger played it like the Joker would have been in the first one, the psychopath, the guy that's just but this thing here is just I don't know, man, it fell flat, and again, not a knock, I mean, this guy can make a movie. I have 0 problem with the way the movie was made. Just
yeah.
the story should have been thought out a little better.
Yeah,
Again, consult a call Kevin Smith and have a conversation about what the storyline should be. Read a comic book. I mean, again,
yeah,
this is what frustrates me about Hollywood and all the Marvel universe and DC universe. You have decades of material behind you.
yeah,
Pick a storyline, build off of it.
yeah,
Just using Batman, you have Gotham by Gaslight. You have a book called Arkham Asylum. You could make a movie just about Arkham Asylum that would be fantastic,
yeah.
and you just refuse to do it. You take well-established characters that are loved by legions of people, and then you write shit.
You
You just
basically
write
shit all over the
you
characters.
just write you make shitty movies. Like, why would you
Yeah,
do that? Th this might be the easiest job in Hollywood. Just pick
right.
a run of Batman, and just
Yeah.
embellish and move on.
Right.
And you can't do it. Either their ego's too big or they got too many yes people. Well, no, man, you're the man. You did Joker. You crushed it.
Yeah.
I get irritated, man. I just because from where I'm sitting, I can see my comic book collection. I can see my Batman box, and I'm like, there's
Yeah.
a decades of movies sitting right there. If you just would open a comic book,
Yeah.
and again, talk to Jon Favreau, who understands respecting the fan base when
Yeah. I
referencing
mean,
Star Wars. Again, you can talk to Kevin Smith, who does a podcast about Batman. It's easy to get this source material.
yeah.
And none of
Yeah,
it is musical.
that's one of those things too. It is like the slap in the face to the fans.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess there was some sort of controversy about the first one. I never really got into any of that. I didn't really understand any of the controversy.
It wasn't for everybody.
Yeah.
Teresa, she turned it off. She's like, this movie bothers me. She says it's a well done movie, but she's like, when it gets into like you're showing the breakdown of someone's mental breakdown,
Yeah,
she
it's
just
tough.
has it's a personal thing for her. She's like, I'm
Sure.
uncomfortable watching this, and I'm like, that's awesome. This movie made you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
She didn't say it was bad. She's like, I just don't like watching it. It makes me feel weird.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, again, like when in the movie when he comes out with like no shirt on.
Oh, I know.
Oh my god, dude, eat an order of fries, man.
I was thinking, get that one bone.
Oh,
there's something up there.
I mean, he went all out for this role.
Yeah.
Man. Good on you. And again, I think Gaga was fine. I have no problem with Gaga. I don't know.
Yeah.
This looks like they consulted M. Night Shyamalan for the script versus a comic book writer.
This is a good idea. Let's do this here.
I mean, I don't know.
Look, I'm telling
Frank
you,
Miller's still alive. Go talk to Frank Miller.
Yeah, really. If you're a fan of the first Joker, I skip it. Honestly, I mean, maybe wait till streaming just if you're really curious, but I don't think you're going to walk out of it happy no matter what you do. I really feel like I mean, I do. I wish I would have waited. I didn't need to. If I knew this was what I was getting into, I did not need to see this first.
I talked my daughter out of going to see it.
Yeah.
She texted me this morning, first thing this morning. She goes, Dad, what's the review? And I was like, what do I say here? So I said,
I almost gave it 5 poos. That's what
I said. I just basically said, did you like the first one? She goes, I love the first one. I said, you're not going to like this one. And she was really, and I broke it down as easy. I said, look, it's going to disappoint you. Just save your money. Go see something. Go see Deadpool.
Yeah.
It's money better spent. And so anyway, I mean, I don't know if she still wants to see it or not. I'll find out. I mean, he'll go see Crow 2 or whatever the remake. I don't know. I'm disappointed because I wanted so much for this movie to be better. Yeah. I wanted this to be maybe like what what they do with the Batman franchise, do 3 movies and then restart it. I mean, I thought you had something going here, and I'd read that like this was the first one was supposed to be the launch of a DC Black group of films where DC went a little darker with the characters, and Joker was the first one in that under that umbrella. This was
this was a mistake, guys.
Nah, baby, nah.
It's definitely
what did Tara think?
Tara was she said it was okay. She's like, it was all right. She's like she was like, it was long. We didn't talk too much about it because I said a few things like some of the stuff I told you already. And she was like, and I was like, but I'm still trying to wrap my head around everything. Like, it's just one of those ones I didn't want to talk about yet because I walked out of it mad, actually, to be quite honest. I walked out of it mad and I was like, I don't want to just knee jerk that I'm pissed off.
I wanted to talk to you so bad.
Yeah. And there is the thing that sucks is, I said it before, there's just so much talent behind it. Mm-hmm. It's like, how can it fail? And as miserably as it did, I don't know, but it did.
But I mean,
I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. I don't recommend it, and that's where
there is a slew of these reviews. We are not on an island on this bad boy,
right?
So.
Yeah. I wish we could push back. I wish we could be the ones to tell you why you should see this, but we are not. This is not.
Listen, Teresa messaged me last night after the movie. She goes, "How was it?" And I said, "I so much wanted to be able to go at Brent's face and be like, ha, it is a good movie."
Yeah.
And I can't, buddy. Brent, you called this one without even seeing it, but you're wrong on the first one, and I'll stand by that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
This is one of those you got lucky calls because of your feelings about
A
the
blind
first one.
squirrel finds a nut every once in a while, Gary. It's
Yeah,
everybody can do that.
that's right. That's true.
All right, everybody, don't see it.
Don't see it, but please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you did go see it,
See this.
air your grievances below.
This is more entertaining. If you want,
At least
we'll sing
like
a
to
song
think
for
so.
you.
Yeah, yes, that's true.
You like a comment, we'll jump in and do a song for you.
There you go. All right, thanks everybody. Catch you next time. Oh, and we should announce too that we're doing next week starts Flick Floptober, so be ready for that. We're gonna do 2 months of Halloween horror films.
Yeah, baby.
So well into, by the time you get to December, then we'll start holiday stuff. But it's horror. It's horror for 2 months. So we'll see you guys then. Thanks.
This has been a Touch of Madness production, brought to you by the creative minds at Tommy Twins Media.